So yeah, like we were saying, bats are nocturnal. Yeah. Like you're talking about.
That's like an old saying, blind as a bat, you know.
Yeah.
But bats are not all blind. Some are, you know.
Yeah.
Not all blind.
No.
You know,
No.
some bats have got really, really good eyes, you know, they're just like foxes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got the fox bat actually, you know, which apparently they've got really good eyes.
You've got a bat called the fox bat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's all kinds of bats out there, obviously.
Well, I know, yeah.
Well, the reason why it's called a fox is it looks like a fox.
Okay.
You know, but
Makes
there's
sense,
hundreds, there's ghost bats.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's oh God, you know, it just goes on the list. Do you know what I mean? There's so many bats out there that people, I don't think they realise how many there are in a kind of way, you know. And I think they're still discovering them today, new ones, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you know. Even insects, right? There's, like for instance, there's 800,000 different beetles.
Yeah.
Right, and they're still discovering new ones today. Do you know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
so many different kinds. Some are gold.
Yeah.
Some are green.
Yeah.
Metallic. All metallic. Do you know what I mean? Some are purple metallic.
Yeah.
You know, there's all different breeds out there, but it's like nature's made everything that you can think of. You with me? You know, and it's like all the butterflies out there. The list goes on, and the moths. You know, it's, you know, like the peacock butterfly, right? Very beautiful butterfly that looks like a peacock. Obviously, you know, it's got a peacock sort of design on it.
Yeah.
But you know that. Oh, I can't remember what I was going to say really. You know, but it's nature's incredible.
It is. Yeah.
You know, like I can't believe actually, you know, because I look for them sometimes. You know, as I say, I go searching, and I can't believe how many different designs there are on butterflies in a way. You know.
And that's just one example.
Yeah, and I think like nature's just...
Nature comes in all shapes and sizes and colours, and it's vibrant. You know, it's wonderful. You know, like, you know.
I think just nature's made almost everything.
Like even the other day, for example, you showed me something called the golden beetle.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't even aware there was something called the golden beetle. When I saw it, you could see exactly why they called it the golden beetle. But that's just a very small example. But it's just like, you know, it's, you know, it's amazing. You know,
I mean,
the colour spectrums that everything comes in, and the variation, and you know, it's great. It's great, you know.
I've been studying birds really all my life, you know, and I still keep finding new ones today. Do you know what I mean? It's incredible. You know, nature's made almost every thing you can think of.
Yeah.
In a funny way, you know. Not everything, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, like I think like this year, right? Because I go for my walks now, yeah. And I don't see any beetles about anymore or anything, you know. I don't see many butterflies.
Yeah.
Or I didn't see a moth this year.
Yeah.
You know, and I think...
all that is decreasing in numbers.
It is going,
it has done for a while now. It's been decreasing.
Disappearing, you know, and I know why, you know, because of traffic.
Yeah.
You know, it is destroying it.
Well, not just that alone. Not just that alone, mate. Everything else, mate. You know, our society, our environment in society today is, you know, there's so much pollution, so much emissions of all types of descriptions and all sorts of things going on that, you know, is destroying nature essentially. And we know this because we talk about it. They talk about it all the time in all these global summits and all this kind of thing. Is that the reality is that we are destroying nature? All these oil spills, and not saying we as not blaming us for these kind of things, because I'm saying these large oil companies and all these kind of people are to blame for this type of shit. Say for example, you know. Because, you know, all these large oil spills and shit and all these things that happen and destroy large parts of the oceans and killing off all sorts of various life forms and all sorts of different shit in the ocean, if you see what I mean, and etc. You know.
It's not just that.
But I'm just saying that's just one small example. But I'm just saying that's just one small example of the multitude of different things that it is destroying nature in the world that we live in. But you know.
You know, another thing is like all these cars and lorries and everything, yeah. All the tyres every year on them got to be changed, don't they? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they get worn down, don't they?
Yeah.
And all these rubber particles apparently go into the air. Yeah, and they're only small, you can't see them. You know, so thin. You know, and apparently they go into the main jet stream.
Yeah.
Which is the, you know, there's jet streams, weather of jet streams, it's sort of fast winds that are blowing above the earth.
Okay.
And all this, you know.
Mm.
So all this rubber goes up and it goes into the jet stream apparently, and it's melting all the ice in the Arctic.
Mm.
That's what they say.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do kind of believe it, you know. You think about how much rubber all these cars need year after year, you know. And you think about they're going on the road and they get worn out, all this rubber's coming off and going into the oxygen. You know, and that's another thing, you know. And then you've got the exhaust, you know, whatever, you know. I mean, it'd be alright if there's only 100 cars in the world and 100 lorries, but it's just billions, you know. And like I look at this world as a bit like a greenhouse, and you've got the sun as a light up there, you know, and we're just filling it up with gas, you know, like rubber and crap. And we're all breathing in.
We are.
Know, and, you know, like I look at, we all got a lung each. Yeah.
Yeah. Two.
You know, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
And this is our lung out here that we all share in a kind of way. And everyone, you know, there's a lot of people out there just polluting it day after day. Do you know what I mean? Year after year. You know, not really appreciating it. You know. I'd say if you go back in time, the air used to be a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
And there used to be a lot more insects about. There used to be more butterflies about, you know. Like 50 years ago, I know that I used to see lots and lots of
Well, back in not even that long ago, you turn over a rock. Let's say you go walking somewhere in the forest, you turn over a rock somewhere that's a little bit wet or whatever, and it's like you find like you might find like a few caterpillars and some ants or some
caterpillars.
or something. Well, not
caterpillars.
Well, worms. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Poor choice of but worms and ants and.
Well, you might find a caterpillar under their hide.
If you see what I mean.
You never know, you know.
But what I'm trying to say is that you used to find nature though. If like you turn it like today you do that, you don't find there's nothing. If you see what I mean, like it's not like you said. It's heavily declining. You know.
It is indeed, you know, and it's quite scary, you know, because I even know there used to be more birds in the sky, you know. I mean, when I was like 7 and all that, I know that there used to be lots of caterpillars about.
Yeah.
And they used to be really hairy. Now I can't see anymore.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
Yeah.
They disappeared. Do you know what I mean? And birds rely on little insects, you know, to eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's one thing they eat, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of birds do. But like you think about one car going on the motorway on a hot summer's day, you know, for 8 hours it's driving, then the car stops, you know, and you look at the flies on the windscreen. How many are on there?
Yeah.
Hundreds. The little dead mosquitoes maybe, or a big fly here and there, or a little one. All these little flies to me are little gems, you know, they're all beautiful little birds, you know, and I find it horrifying in kind of way that, like, those little flies have lost their life for one, right, and the birds are not getting their food anymore, you know, and they're kind of like dying slowly. You know, and one day, sort of like in 50 or maybe 100 years' time, I'm fearing that all the children are going to live in a world with no birds.
Yeah.
You know, and it's getting like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I'd say when I was younger, I saw caterpillars. Lots of them.
Yeah.
And I think like if I went back another 100 years on, there would be more caterpillars and birds about than I saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I think it's only since we've invented cars and roads and things like that, they're slowly declining.
Not only that, too, factories, you've got to remember.
Well, I don't think factories are too much to blame.
Factories are the huge amount to blame. The number one
pollution.
The number one pollution in the world comes from meat factories.
I'm sorry, burn my nose.
Yeah. Careful.
Burn my nose.
Singed his nose.
Funny.
Yeah.
I've done that once, my eyebrows went up.
Shit.
Inflamed.
Shit.
A long time ago.
That's the last thing you want.
Big Do you know, like when you sometimes like you?
Yeah.
Not bigger than I thought it was going to be. You know.
Yeah, that's what the nan said to the vicar.
Well, I am aiming to give up smoking one day, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I just enjoy smoking. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's that. You know.
Mm.
I know in nature, you know, like, you know, all the birds.
Well, yeah, meat factories.
Oh, go on, sorry.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I just wanted to finish on that point.
Yeah, go on.
Meat factories. Before you finish your nose, meat factories were the number one CO2 emitters today in the world, amongst other factories.
I didn't know that.
But we're relying on this shit to feed our populations. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, how do we manage it? And we still need to feed the population. So how do we balance all this shit out? You know.
Yeah, it's very political.
It's one of those things. It's like, obviously we don't want to destroy the planet and etc. 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 And so that it's no longer sustainable for any life. But at the same time, at the moment, because of our population, we need all these factories and all this shit to provide. They keep the supermarkets stocked and X, Y, Z, so people can go and buy their groceries. And
we're all living very unnatural today. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Nature wins in the end, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, don't matter. I mean, even if you build a motorway, right? Honestly, yeah. You look at it 100 years time, it'd be grass growing in the cracks and things like that. Nature will, and trees, you know.
Especially grass, mate. Grass is like, I don't know how grass does it, mate, but grass is persistent. Like you said, sometimes grass will come up through the cracks of the concrete and shit, and
most of us are living in cities, aren't we?
Yeah.
With big roads that have been built and pavements, alright. But I guarantee you, if we come back here in 100 years' time, unless they be maintained, all this, nature would take over it all completely. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be looked after all the time. You know, we're not. I don't think humans are meant to be standing still in a house.
Yeah.
We're meant to be moving creatures on the move, just like cows are in a kind of way, like elephants are.
Yeah.
Alright? But, obviously in time we've evolved like the way we are today, do you know what I mean? We've got to accept the way we are, but we are living, I feel, very unnaturally. Even clocks and alarm clocks are very unnatural, You think like a lion, for instance, when it goes to sleep, it doesn't set alarm to wake up at a certain time. It sleeps how much it needs to sleep. And a lot of people are getting up early and not getting enough sleep, maybe. Do you know what I mean? It's all important.
That's me, mate. That's me for sure.
Well, sleep is important, and
I work so hard, mate, and I'm always either working or busy doing something. Like, I usually have 19-hour days, 18, 19-hour days every day.
I usually crazy.
Sleep.
I used to
sleep 5-6 hours a night. 6 hours is good.
Used to, yeah.
6 hours is good, and then if you get a night where you're not able to sleep and you've only got 6 hours to sleep, then that's even worse because you wide awake and you've only got 6 hours to sleep, 5 hours to sleep, and then you might be awake for a little while and then you might end up getting 3 hours of sleep. And you're still getting up, as soon as that alarm clock's getting up, you're so used to it. Like me, when you've got a family and shit, you've got to provide, you just drag yourself out of bed, you just get up, so that alarm goes off, I might lay there for 5 minutes with my eyes open, just just kind of saying some affirmations or just giving thanks.
I've been there.
Giving thanks for another day, just giving thanks for another day. But you're knackered, but you still get up and you still, you get shit cracking, And don't get me wrong, everyone's human, and we all have days where you can't do it, where you've done it for so long that your body just gets exhausted and you just have to have a rest that day. You just think, no, I can't do it today. I keep doing it, but once in a blue moon it does catch up to you where you think, oh, today I can't do it, I'm sorry, gotta take a day to rest, but yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a horrible little game, isn't it?
Anyway. My advice to anyone out there like myself that is on the grind constantly, and not only that, but I got a new single coming out, funny enough, called On the Grind, which is quite funny talking about it. But yeah, to me, if you're only getting a certain amount of sleep and shit, kind of like me, 5-6 hours a night, whatever, or even less, then you've got to make sure that you do get that. When you do get that sleep, you can't get any less than that if possible. And also you've got to look after yourself. You've got to drink plenty of water. And try to eat foods that are good for you.
Coke.
And also eat foods that are good for your body. Keep your body strong and.
I mean, sleep is part of nature as well, isn't it?
Well, sleep is natural. Sleep is needed just to recharge. Our brains and our bodies just need a break.
But you think about how our sleep runs with the moon and the sun as well. Where as soon as it gets dark, everything gets tired.
But as the sun sets as well, as the more the evening goes on, melatonin sets in our body, something called melatonin.
Yeah.
So as the evening progresses, like you said, as the sun starts to go down, and it starts to get towards night and things change, melatonin is produced within our bodies. So that's why we get to a certain time at night, we get tired, and we want to sleep. If you see what I mean, because it usually starts about 6 o'clock. So if you're like me and you get to bed by 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, you already had 6 hours of melatonin kicked in. If you see what I mean, and if you get what I'm trying to say, so by the time you actually do fall asleep, you just kind of pass out,
But as soon as it gets dark, alright,
yeah.
Not just us humans go to sleep. A lot of the flowers do too. I think, and trees. Apparently, they go to sleep too.
Yeah.
You might not think they do, but they I think they got a conscience of some kind.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned actually not long ago where like plants and trees, alright, have only got feelings. Yeah, and that's it. And when you move up, alright, to worms and shells, like snails and things like that, they've got 2 senses, and that is the next sense is, what do you think it is? Feelings and communication. Speech. Did you believe that?
With what?
Well, plants apparently they communicate through chemicals. Right?
Well, that won't surprise me. Yeah. But we already know that plants go through photosynthesis, as we know. So that's one thing in itself, if you see what I mean. We know.
What I'm moving up to, like, so worms and shells and things like that, I've only got 2 senses, and that is speech and feeling. Right.
Yes.
And then when you move up to ants, right, because ants haven't got eyes, they might look like they've got eyes, but they can't see apparently.
Yeah.
They got 3 senses.
Okay.
They got communication, and they got feeling, and I think they got smell.
Okay.
Then spiders have got 4 eyes. They can see. Right, and then when you go up to snakes and all the other animals, alright, they got all the senses we have. Taste. And all that, But apparently they haven't got mind or reason. Okay. So like monkeys haven't got mind or reason or whatever. You can't reason with a monkey. Or a penguin. Alright. But when you move up to humans, we have got reason and mind.
Yes.
But there is one other animal that's got it as well. It's not the ape, which you would think it has, but it's the elephant. They've got the same as mind. They've got mind.
Yeah.
Where you can reason with them.
Yeah.
And I know elephants, right? They've always been number 1 to my heart.
Yeah.
That's why I've got an elephant up there, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a nan of elephants, and I just, when I look at all animals, which I do, always have done or whatever, or insects or whatever, elephants, when I see them, I feel passionate about them for some reason. I think a lot of people feel it, there's a lot of elephant lovers out there. But elephants are, to me, the most passionate animal on earth. They're more, I think they're more intelligent than humans, in a funny way, And humans are meant to be like elephants in a funny way, but we started building cities, and somebody started controlling us, basically, and this is what we've got. You know, and like I say, I think we're living very unnaturally today, you know, and that's why a lot of people getting ill,
Yeah.
a lot of sick, because, you know, it's just not natural, you know. I mean, if elephants had to live like this as well, they'd get sick, you know, like go to school and all this sort of stuff, you know, and all this, you know, this is not right. It's not natural. There's something's controlling everything, you know, and always have been for a long time, you know, and, you know, that's that really, you know. This is just unnatural.
Yeah.
And it's not going to last, you know what I mean? It's got to change.
Well, I think it's gonna become even more unnatural. I think, mate, in the next 50 to 100 years, mate. We're living in a technological age, like we always talk about. You know, we're getting to a point where they're trying to merge man with machine, essentially. You know, some real shit's happening. You know,
machine can't win.
Well, there's something called if you've ever heard of something called transhumanism, which I've talked about briefly in the past. That's a very interesting topic. You've got to research that because we're living in this transhumanist age right now. Like I said just now, they're trying to merge man with machine. You know, they're trying to find a way where they can make man immortal. You know, you got these rich billionaire people that they don't want to die. You know, they got everything they could ever want or ever need, and the only thing that they can't escape, or they haven't yet found out a solution to, is death.
No one will.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But these people are they're spending money trying to, you know, they're trying to find a way where they can make man immortal. You know?
Yeah, but they won't.
But, yeah.
They won't. Who wants to, you know, like, who wants to live forever anyway, you know?
You've got some people that do, mate, I promise you. And some of these people are very rich, powerful people.
Well,
that want to live forever.
I think people that think or do what you're saying are sad people. They're unhappy.
Yeah.
You know, they want to live forever. You know, that makes them unhappy to me. You know, they're not happy because they're going to die. You know, and I think you've got to accept death, you know. Be happy that you lived and happy that you're going to die.
It happens to everyone.
You know, being born is a miracle, yeah, and so is dying. You know, and everything that ever existed is dying, you know, everything. Whether it's a tree, whatever, everything's dying, you know. You know, everyone's sort of born, alright, yeah, and they reach 20 and they think, this is great, you know, live forever, you know, and it's not. You know, you know, sort of like you reach 40 and you think, oh, you're going to lose everything, you're going to lose your children, you're going to lose, you know, do you know what I mean? You're just going to, you know, don't matter what you've got in life, you're going to lose it all. Whoever you fall in love with.
Yeah, it all comes to an end.
Yeah. You know, and it's temporary, isn't it, life, you know?
Yeah.
And people think it's, you know, when they first get in it, they think it's going to last forever, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you know, we grow up disappointed, actually. As adults, we all get disappointed, you know.
Yeah.
Disappointed with a lot of things.
Well, I think especially when you're younger, you get to a certain, like they say, ignorance is bliss. It's like me, I grew up very fast, so I understood what life was all about from about 14 years old, 13, 14 years old. I already caught on what life was all about. By 15 years old, I'd already left school. Well, 15 going on 16, I'd already left school. And I was in the real world. Working every day, hustling, you know. I knew immediately, you know, it's like you said, it's like reality check, you know. This is what the real world is about. This is what is expected of you. If you want to survive, you want to have a good life, you want to maintain and not have to struggle too much or not have to scrimp and scrape to survive all the time, and you've got to work hard to, you know, to do it, you know, and that's just a reality, you know. No one's going to do it for you, you know. So
I mean, I've worked very hard most of my life.
Yeah.
You know, and I built up, as I've said, I've built up my home with my ex-wife, built up a home before that with a different family.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of energy, you know, all this many years of sort of dedication and building up my life, and you lose it.
Yeah.
You know, and I lost everything, you know. And then I had to build up my life again until I got here, you know. And I think to myself, you know, like I say, everything's temporary. You know, and I used to fall in love with things, whatever, but I don't anymore. Do you know what I mean? You know, I think it's dangerous to fall in love with anything in a funny way, because you're going to get disappointed in a funny way. You know, I mean, obviously I love a lot of things in life, you know, but I know that that it's not going to last forever, basically. No. You know.
That's
you know.
it. Yeah.
You know, you've got to sort of not love them like you're going to keep them.
Yeah.
Or they're yours, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, like a cat, say some people love a spider, say. You know, like, you know, say there's a spider there, and there's 4 people around it, we all got different perspective of that spider. You know, someone might fear it, someone might love it, but to love it, you wouldn't want to keep it, you see. But if you're going to love that spider, you'd just let it be a spider and let it go away. But there's a different kind of love where somebody wants to put it in a cage and look after it. You see, an envy kind of love where they want to look after it and feed it every day. But that little spider's not going to be happy in that little cage, you know. So if you love it, you're going to let it go and free it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when I was younger, when I was about 14, I had 2 little budgies called Pinky and Perky, and one of them was a pinky one, you know, and one of them was a blue.
Yeah.
You know, I used to love them. You know, I only had it for like 2 months. And
yeah.
My cat, well, my mum's cat, Puskins, killed it.
Oh, okay. Oh, remember you told me. Yeah.
That was in the previous episode.
Yeah.
You know, a long time ago. You know, but yeah, it killed it, and but they don't remember.
Yeah.
Until then, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it killed my 2 budgies. But I used to keep budgies, you know, and I used to put them in the cage. But, well, I used to let the cage open, you see, yeah, and let the birds fly out into my bedroom, yeah. But for some reason, somebody, you know, I don't think it was me, didn't shut my door properly.
And Puskins got in there.
Well, Mum might have gone up and done something, you know, made my bed, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And, yeah, and Puskin, well, when I come home from school, there's feathers all up the stairs.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You know, and I was very angry with Puskins, let's put it that way. You know, I lost my 2 birds. I think I only had them for a month.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't have them very long. But now I'm older, you know, because that's when I was about 15. I would not ever do that again.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's wrong that they sell living things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I did have a chameleon. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was given to me for a birthday present from a girlfriend, whatever, yeah. This is like 10 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had it, and I thought, I was looking after it, and I had all these plastic leaves in there, and I had to spray it every day, you know, feed it, and I thought, you know, it should be in the jungle, not here. You know what I mean? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, and I think about all these people out there, you know, okay, you know, some people do it properly. That's the thing, you know. Like, if I had more time to look after that thing, and I would have done it, you know, but I was working at the time and all this sort of stuff, you know. And you got to have time, if you're going to love something, you got to have time for it. That's all there is to it. You know.
It's true.
It's like parrots, for instance. You know, some parrots are happy.
Yeah.
Because they get fed, right? And they end up loving who they're with.
Yeah.
They get quite, just like dogs do in a funny way.
Cats too, yeah.
But personally, I think it's wrong, you know. You know, like you think like some of these exotic countries, islands and things, there are people going around just getting the birds, putting them in cages and then taking them to other countries to sell them to make money.
Oh, of course, yeah. There's definitely a market and an industry
again,
for that
you know,
thing.
this is why the birds are going, you know. I mean, I remember when I was younger, yeah, I used to go egg collecting. This is when I was about 11, 15, you know, and other boys used to do it, you know. And you think about all the boys were doing it at that time, you know, collecting eggs, you know, and it shouldn't have been allowed. Yeah. You know, should not, you know, it took a whole generation of birds away, you know. That's why I don't think there's so many about today, you know, because I think probably people egg collecting today, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's all completely wrong. Yeah. You know, like, collecting animals for certain things, you know, for shampoos and what, God knows what, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, it's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we've got to change.